All right, folks. God bless you and welcome to This Is It. Before the Fire. That's the name the Lord told me to name the ministry He gave me because there's a fire coming. Um, Tonight's video, I hope you guys are in for just a whole lot of mind blowing. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's just, I'm trying to decide. I was talking to a friend of mine about how, sometimes I know that these videos, because I know they're long, there's always a ton of information, a ton of stuff that you should know or maybe should have known before you even got to the video. And sometimes I try and reinsert repetition, intensity, and reversal. Um, all I'm really doing you is showing you what's been revealed to me through the Spirit. 1 Corinthians 12, the gift of knowledge, the gift of wisdom. It's kind of like laying hands on somebody. The Lord's had me lay hands on people that are literally blind in one eye. Juan Longoria was blind in one eye. His eye was healed in 15 minutes. Cat Young's husband, irreversible, an incurable eye problem, blurriness, headaches, no cure for it. Lord had me lay hands on him immediately, done forever. No more meds. Fixed. Little girl in Grand Junction, Alexi, 2400 vision. The Lord told me to lay hands on her. Her vision in 2040. Jory Lamb on the way to Las Vegas. She was getting injections in her eyeball. I believe all those injections have stopped. I haven't heard that anything to the contrary to that. I know that after I visited her and laid hands on her, her doctor said he didn't know what was going on, but the degenerativeness had stopped, and he didn't know what was going on, and he would not be giving her an injection in her eyeball. So anyway, so one thing the Lord's had me do is lay hands on people with eye issues, and more than likely, obviously, that's because I had Vlad eyewear, and the logo was "Come out of the darkness into the light" with Vlad eyewear, because vampire sunglasses. Because you're a vampire, and vampires obviously can't come out during the sunlight. So our sunglasses are so good. There's a rack of them up on the wall over there. They're so good that even vampires now, you can come out of the darkness into the light and, come play in the sun. Anyway, that was the marketing premise. So anyway, obviously, since he gave me the gift of vision as a ministry for the King of Kings, it seemed very fitting that what I did right before I got saved was vampire sunglasses. I mean, isn't that just like the Lord? So anyway, so I was trying to decide how to unroll all this. Guys, I'm telling you, here's what I want to tell you first. There's a lot of stuff to cover tonight. I'll probably change clothes 2 to 3 times just because I was trying to figure out how to give you a marker during the video. So if you watched it, you're like, okay, I watched the first hour, which was one subject. And then the second hour was another subject, another thing that I covered. And when I changed subjects, I could just go throw on a different shirt sitting right over there. Heck, there's shirts laying everywhere. I could just grab one from there over there and just change the color. So as you scroll through, you can go, oh, I already saw the blue. Here he is in red. I need to watch this part, whatever. I'm just trying to make it easy for you without, you having to hunt for where you left off or stuff like that. Anyway, so here's what I'd like to be able to give to you tonight. At least open the door for you. So I was talking to Kat, I was talking to Corey, and I've talked to other friends of mine that I've gotten to go skydiving, like Michael in Grand Junction. You don't know what skydiving is until you've done it. It's experiential. So you can't tell somebody. You can tell somebody all about it. You can tell them, oh, this and the wind and oh, the feeling and blah blah. and here's my video, but they don't really understand it unless you go, because you have to be the one putting it all on the line to go do it, and blah blah blah. So what I want to give to you tonight is kind of like that. However, it doesn't actually require going skydiving per se. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is this. In your spiritual walk with the Lord, it's from glory to glory to glory. We are literally going from one rung of the ladder up the next rung, up the next, and things are being added all along the way. Supernatural understandings. I mean, my goodness, 2 years ago, I wouldn't believe that the Lord could show me anymore. I was like, this is the apex. And wouldn't you know it, just within, a very short time, more supernatural, more and more and more and more. If y'all have been coming here, you know what I'm talking about. Every video has something crazy, supernatural, new in it. Revelation. What I'm going to try and give you is what happened to me today, and it's written right there behind me. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to read what I'm talking about. It's from the Acts of Peter, and I want you to hear these words, and I want you to know, and I want to look you in the eye and tell you, I understand, and I've got to experience the words that are there, that are almost beyond comprehension to experience. And then not only did I get to experience them, but the Lord himself confirmed them, confirmed my experience, which is, it's almost not explainable. Like, remember when I was driving down this Broadway, talking to Kat, asking her to look up 4:18. Well, I believe it was 4:18 in the Bible. The Lord kept pressing me, and it means that which is inexplainable, that cannot be expressed in words. And then I look over and I see this guy in a wheelchair, and the Lord tells me, pull over and bless him. And the whole event became something that was unexplainable. It was so supernatural, so spiritual, and so mind-bogglingly orchestrated by the Lord. It just was not almost explainable. And it was exactly what was going on at the time it happened. Hey, Kat, can you tell me the meaning of, I think it was 4:18. And the whole situation panned out to be the definition of what 4:18 is in the Bible, word number 4:18. I think it was 4:18. So anyway, I want to read to you the Acts of Peter. Now, you guys know what's the revelation here. Everything was turned upside down and backwards when we got put in the flesh. The key to the kingdom of heaven, turn everything up because you're upside down. Upon this rock, I will found my church. This profound revelation of knowledge, the unrolled scroll up and down at this, boom, boom. It's proven to be perfect. So I want to read to you the Acts of Peter. I'll do the first, I'll do paragraph 37, I believe, and I'll read it very kind of quickly without explaining it. Then I'll go into verse 38, and I want you to hear it because it happened to me today. I experienced it, and I was in silence, bawling, in silence, weeping, in silence, thanking God and apologizing, knowing what he did and that I was a cause for it, but yet I had been redeemed, and my gratitude is not explainable in words which come out of my mouth. There's no words that can explain or that can come forth from my body that could explain to God my gratitude. But my spirit itself met the Lord in a point of complete understanding and explanation together. And as that happened, I wept and felt something that was so far intangible. It was like sky surfing with the space shuttle. Who gets to do that? I mean, who gets to sky surf with the space shuttle launching? I did. You know, and then who gets to have that kind of a ride? I mean, my jump with the space shuttle, I was fighting for my life the entire jump. My back binding was coming loose. And 3 guys died that same year from that same malfunction. So anyway, let's do the Acts of Peter. Now listen, I want this to be fun. I want you guys to have just like, I want you guys to walk away from this video going like, that was so freaking awesome. Because everything I have to give you is unbelievable. I'm going to show you some video clips that you might not even believe what you're watching. It's like, yeah. And then I'm going to give you some Bible, some scripture put together, not with a long explanation, but with a boom, 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 bullet point. Game over. I'm going to show you some stuff in folder 5. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm 10 minutes in, I'm 11 minutes into this, and I just wanted to lay out what's going to happen. So what I'll probably do, like I said, is, you know, it's 11:35 p.m. and I'm just getting started. So when I stop the first part, whenever I get through the first part of maybe the first hour, I'll go take a coffee break, switch up clothes, maybe wash my face and stuff, and freshen up a little bit, try and wake up a little bit, and then keep going. I'll throw on a different shirt or something. That way you'll know if you have to watch this video in segments, you can just scroll the cursor and, you know, find the different color shirt or something. All right, so let me get the Acts of Peter up for you and then let's go. Okay, so let me show you, look, let me start by showing you John 21. This is the last chapter of the Gospel of John. And this is where Peter dies off the boat and goes and sees the risen Christ on the shore, and Jesus restores him. And remember, at this point in Matthew 16, Jesus had already renamed him Simon, son of Jonas. He had already renamed him and said, I'm going to call you Petros. And he said, upon this Petra, I will form my church. And this was the Petra, knowing this, because Peter recognized the Christ. And then Jesus said, I'm going to give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Well, if you have a key in a door that's locked and the bolt's been gone in, to unlock it, you go the opposite direction. So I'll go like this. So, and then the bolt goes out. So you're really turning everything up. So when the key gets turned like this, the bolt retracts. So Jesus knew that he would be crucified right side. He even told them in Matthew 16 that he was going to be crucified. And that's then he calls Peter Satan. It's like, hey, I'm going to call you Petros. And then he says, oh, by the way, Satan, get behind me. So it's like, go figure that out. I have. Okay, so here we go. So he tells him right here, he says, look, when they had dined, Peter said, Simon, son of Jonas, do you love me more than these? He said, then feed my lambs. A second time he said, Simon, son of Jonas. By the way, why wasn't he calling him Petros? Because he hadn't become Petros yet. He didn't take on actually that identity until the time of his crucifixion, if you think about it, because right here in John 21 is where Jesus tells Peter his death is going to glorify God. It says it right here. But he made sure he asked him 3 times, do you love me? And then he says, feed my lambs. Well, what do I do when I turn the virgin right side up? I show you a lamb, a sheep. So I just fed you. How? By showing you the truth. You know why? Because you've been under mind control your entire life since you were born. Your whole life has been mind control. Since the moment you took your first breath into this dimension, it's been this, mind control. Because you were born into a system that's upside down and backwards to the Spirit of the living God. So as you come in, let's say this is you come in and boom, you get flipped. As soon as you come into the system, you get flipped and you're under mind control. Have you ever thought about this just as a quick additive for this section? I mean, what is your perception of reality of what you're born, you're supposed to like, go to school, get a job, meet a girl, find love, what you think is love, have some kids, buy a house. I mean, whatever. I mean, everyone's got their own. What do you say? What's life? Where did you come up with your perception of what life is? Well, because mom told you when you were little growing up, you watched cartoons. As you got older, you went to school, they taught you things in school, and this is what life is. And you start formulating this mental picture of what life is. And, as you grow up through all the years, every grade has something that goes with it and hormones that start kicking in, and this happens and then this. And so your formulation of what life is really controlled by the system that you were born into. The system dictates your mind control. Okay, now I'm going to give you a quick little story about the ants and the aphids. I had a video on YouTube, but it was up for a long time. And then they came and copyright struck it, and they pulled it down because it was very descriptive and it was very, very good for understanding this system. And they actually gave me a strike against it. So now, I'll just tell you the story. It's the story of the ants and the aphids, okay? So here you go. So here's a big mound of ants, right? Big mound. And then way down underground is where the whole system really is. But on the top of the mound is, evidence that there's a big colony below the ground. Okay, well, way down in that colony, down subterranean, the ants, they dig out a big room. And in that room, they're preparing it for their captives that they're going to bring in and put under mind control. So what they do is that bunch of ants leave the nest and they go out and they go and they find a bunch of aphids. You know what? I'll show you a picture. Watch this. This is kind of cool. So we'll go to Google Images. Watch. I'll do ants harvesting honey dew. Oh, that's a lot of weird. That was weird. Okay. What the heck? Have y'all ever seen anything like that? What? Weird. Have y'all ever seen anything like that? Did y'all see what just happened? That was weird. Ants harvesting aphids. Look right there. It popped up. Okay, so ants harvesting aphids. See, like, there we go. Look. Okay, so let me show you what's going on here. So these are the ants right here. You see all these ants right here? They're going out and they're catching aphids. Now some of them do it on the trees themselves, but look, there we go. You see right there? There's this. Oh, now watch this. Okay, that's a great picture. Now watch. So here you go. So a bunch of ants leave the mound and they go and they capture a bunch of these aphids, right? And they take these aphids away. They take them off the host plant and they take them down into the nest. And then down in the nest, they bring up a bunch of the same flora that they were taken off of, that the aphids are eating. Well, the aphids, as they eat and as they're stimulated by the ants, they produce this honeydew secretion that comes up off their back. Watch. See right there? See that ant right there? He just got one of the aphids to produce the honeydew secretion. There you go. Look, right there. Exactly what I'm talking about. Johnny hits a home run. Look. You see that little ball? That's honeydew that comes out of an aphid. And then look, right here. Here's an ant harvesting honeydew. Okay, so check this out. So a bunch of ants go grab aphids, go take them underground, put them in a room where they are. They have a bunch of the same flora that the aphids love to eat, and the aphids get on it. And then generation after generation after generation after generation, let's say 10 generations of aphids reproduce. All they have to do is eat the food the ant brings them. And then the ant, by the way, the ants meticulously take care of the aphids. It's kind of a symbiotic relationship, but not really, because the aphids are slaves. They have no choice in the matter. So the aphids are carried away captive. Aphids are, I'll say it again, and then I'll do a look on my face. The aphids are carried away captive. Like Jeremiah. Okay. Aphids are carried away captive like us. They're carried away captive and they're put into a system. And then after many cycles of breeding, many different generations, there's a generation of aphids that are down below the ground, beneath the ant mound. Now, can you imagine this? They've been in there for 10 generations. They have no idea what's going on outside. They don't know there's an outside. They have no idea that there's an outside world. Nothing. Can you imagine if another aphid came in, worked his way down, he gets down there and he's like, walks in, he's like, hey guys, you're not supposed to be in here, man. This is not natural. We're really a different being. We're from the outside. We don't belong here. Can you imagine how the aphids would treat that aphid? They would hate him. They will, he's nuts, whatever. They would say all kinds of terrible stuff about him. The ants would probably want to kill him if they found out. Think about it. Let me ask you this. After 10 generations and you're born, so now you are born in the ant mound, and you're subterranean. You've never seen the outside world. You don't even know it's there. And how would you know you're a slave? Just how would you know after being born in the system, how would you know you're a slave? There's no way. You wouldn't. Okay, it's the exact same thing for us, but the way you know you're a slave, it's just like I showed you. You turn the picture of the virgin right side up and like, damn, it's a dead sheep. Why do you think Jesus told Peter, feed my sheep? Because when you turn things the opposite direction, when I turn the virgin upside down, it's a sheep. So that feeds the sheep. The sheep are like, what? Why is that a sheep? You want to know the truth. You want to get to the bottom of it. Watch this. So here's the system of the ants and the aphids. Here's John 21. And so a third time, Simon, son of Jonas, why lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said to him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. And Jesus said, then feed my sheep. Now, look at now think about this. Picture yourself back then in the Bible. Right now, what we're reading, project yourself to the seashore. Right there, cooking fish. You've denied Jesus 3 times before he got crucified. It's like awkward. Jesus, some really good fish. I mean, it's like weird. Totally awkward, man. It'd be like, sorry about that. Yeah, I was scared. So Jesus is restoring Peter because he denied him 3 times before the cock crowed. I don't know him. I don't know him. Jesus knew he'd do it, told him he'd do it. He did it. And now Jesus is telling him, hey, I want you to feed my sheep, Peter. Peter's like, his right-hand man. He's like, dude, I need you to feed the sheep. You're the guy that recognized me as the Messiah. You're the one that has the keys to the kingdom of heaven. You know how to open the door for everybody. So he tells him right after he tells him for the 3rd time to feed my sheep. Look at what he says to him. Look at what he says. He says, verily I say unto you, Peter, when thou wast young, thou girdest thyself and walkest where thou wouldest. But when thou shalt be old, thou shalt stretch forth thine hands, and another shall gird thee and carry thee where thou wouldest not. Okay, honestly, I have no idea what he would be telling me right there. And then he says, this spake he, signifying by what death he should glorify God. Look right there. This spake he, Jesus, signifying by what death he should glorify God. And when he had spoken this, he said, follow me. Look at this. Then Peter, turning about. It was all hidden right in front of our face in the Bible too. So Jesus tells him, hey man, when you were young, you did your own thing, but when you get older, you're not going to have such a great time, but your death is going to glorify me. Okay, Peter was crucified upside down. So his upside down death glorified God because God was right side up. Peter was that mirror reflection that was willing to go to his death for the truth. And that was a representation of the right side up, upside down system. One right side up, one upside down. Why do you think Jesus called Peter Satan in Matthew 16? Right after he said he'd give him the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Right after it named him Petros. And then he tells him, get thee behind me, Satan. Because Satan's down, Jesus is up. That's why. Now watch this. Okay, so now you saw it with your own eyes. This spake he, signifying by what death he should glorify God. And he said, now follow me. Now watch this. Now we're going to go to the Acts of Peter. Okay, now listen. So they're getting ready to crucify Peter. And Peter says these most profound words. I'm going to read this. And I'm going to read this very quickly. And then this right here is what I'm going to try and give you as the greatest understanding you've ever had, which some of you will freak out and start bawling your head off like I did today outside on the side patio. And it happened in silence. In complete silence. I mean, I had some music going in my ears, but what I mean is I wasn't speaking to anyone. I wasn't talking out loud. I was talking to the Lord in my head, thinking about the Acts of Peter, and it happened. And then I understood. And I was just like, if I could give the whole world a gift, it would be salvation. The next gift I would give them is to understand what it means to connect in spirit and spirit alone with no words, just spirit. And I'm going to show that to you now. I'm going to try and give it to you in these words that was the way I was led to understand it. And then after that, we're going to have a heyday in folder 5, and we're just going to start tearing down some stuff that's just going to blow your mind. Then what I give you now with the Acts of Peter, you're going to be able to take that through your day and through the upcoming days. Guys, Jesus is coming. I guarantee you the King's coming. I don't know the hour of the day, but I know he's coming, and I think he's coming soon. So you'll be able to take this understanding with you everywhere you go. Meditate on it. Think about it when you're discovering these new biblical mind-boggling explosions of truth. Think about this. Okay, so here we go. Ready? Let's do it. Okay, so, and having approached and standing by the cross, he began to say, O name of the cross, thou hidden mystery, O grace ineffable, that is pronounced in the name of the cross. O nature of man that cannot be separated from God. O love, friendship, unspeakable and inseparable that cannot be shown forth by unclean lips. I seize thee now that I'm at the end of my delivery hence. I will declare to thee what thou art. I will not keep silence of the mystery of the cross, which of old was shut and hidden from my soul. Let not the cross be unto you which hope in Christ, this which appeareth. For it is another thing, different from that which appeareth, even this passion which is according to that of Christ. And now above all, because you can hear or are able to hear it of me, that I am at the last and final hour of my life. Hearken, separate your souls from everything that is of the senses, from everything that appeareth and does not exist in truth. Blind these eyes of yours, close these ears of yours, and put away your doings that are seen, and you shall perceive that which concerneth Christ, and the whole mystery of your salvation. And let thus much be said unto you that hear, as if it had not been spoken. But now it is time for thee, Peter, to deliver up thy body unto them that take it. Receive it then, ye unto whom it belongeth. I beseech you, the executioners, crucify me thus, with the head downwards, and not otherwise, and the reason wherefore I will tell unto them that hear. And when they had hanged him up in the manner he desired, he began to say, Ye men unto whom it belongeth to you, hearken to that which I will declare to you at this special time as I hang here. Learn ye the mystery of all nature, and the beginning of all things what it was. For the first man whose race I bear in my appearance, or the race of whom I bear the likeness, fell, was born head downwards, and showed forth a manner of birth, such as was not heretofore, for it was dead, having no motion. He then, being pulled down, also cast his first state down upon the earth, established this whole disposition of all things, being hanged up in the image of creation, wherein he made the things of the right hand into the left hand, and the left hand into the right hand, and he changed about all the marks of their nature, so that he thought that those things that were not fair to be fair, and that those things that were in truth evil to be good, concerning which the Lord saith in a mystery, Unless you make the things of the right hand as those of the left, and those of the left hand as those of the right, and those that are above as those below, and those that are behind as those before, you shall not have knowledge of the kingdom. I'm going to pause it right there before I do my final read. Do you understand what he's saying here? He is literally saying, unless you turn things upside down and backwards, you will never understand the kingdom of heaven ever. Did you know Jesus said the same thing? Just unless you are converted, you will not see the kingdom of heaven. To turn quite around, 180-degree turn the opposite direction. Can't walk around on your hands, can you? Not really, but you can turn everything else upside down and look at it, can't you? Like an image of the Virgin. Jesus said the same thing. Here you go. Now pay attention. This is where I'm trying to get everybody to. For this thought, therefore, I have declared unto you, and the figure wherein you now see me hanging is the representation of that man that first came unto birth, head downwards. Ye therefore, my beloved, that hear me shall hear, ought to cease from your former error, and return back again. For it is right to mount up upon the cross of Christ, who is the Word stretched out, the one and only, of whom the Spirit saith, For what else is Christ but the Word, the sound of God? So that the Word is the upright beam whereon I am crucified, and the sound is that which crosseth it in the nature of man, and the nail which holdeth the cross to the tree, unto the upright in the midst thereof is the conversion and the repentance of man. Here it is, guys, right here. This next part that I'm going to read to you. Today, when I had my moment, it was like sky surfing. When you leave the plane, it happens. When you do your training, you got your board on your feet, you fly to altitude, your heart's just, you know, man, this is life or death. You've got to either, whatever, a routine planned, you know what you got to do, you know you're going to go do it, and you know there's no second chance. It's pretty gnarly. Yeah. And so when you go out that door of that plane, when that board goes out that door, that's it. You're sky surfing. That's it. This is available to everyone. Sky surfing's not. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, this is not contingent you having a parachute or you being a skydiver or you training or doing all the things I had to do, even just to get my first skyboard, then to get an intermediate skyboard, then to start jumping a pro skyboard. There was a lot of stepping stones. The stepping stones is the word and your walk with Jesus Christ. Those are the stepping stones to understand what I'm about to show you right now. There's only one stepping stone really, and it's between you and the Lord to take hold of this. I have been seeking the Lord and His truth since 2002, and obviously if you come to this channel, you've probably seen more supernatural stuff than you know what to do with. And that's the way it is when you seek out the Lord with your whole heart. He says, when you seek me with your whole heart, you'll find me. Most people seek out college, their degrees, making money, looking for girls, guys, whatever. What the mind control of the world told them what to do. This is what you're supposed to want. This is what you're supposed to achieve. This is what you're supposed to have. This is what people think of you. All these things that were part of your previous mind control. Let me show you something profound. Here it is, guys. Now, whereas thou hast made known and revealed these things unto me, O word of life, now called by me wood, or word, now called by me the tree of life, I give thee thanks not with these lips that are nailed unto the cross, nor with this tongue by which truth and falsehood issue forth, nor with this word which cometh forth by means of art, whose nature is material. But with that voice I do give thee thanks, O King, which is perceived in silence, which is not heard openly, which proceedeth not forth by organs of the body, which goeth into ears of flesh, which is not heard of corruptible substance, which exists not in the world, neither is sent forth upon the earth, nor written in books, which is owned by one and not another. But with this, O Jesu Christ, I do give thee thanks with the silence of a voice, wherewith the Spirit that is in me loveth thee, speaketh unto thee, seeth thee, beseecheth thee. Thou art perceived of the Spirit only. Thou art unto me my Father, thou art my mother, thou art my brother. Thou art my friend, thou art my bondsman, thou art my steward. Thou art all, and the all is in thee. Thou art, and there is naught else, save save only in thee. Unto him therefore do you also, brethren, flee, if you learn that in him alone you exist. You shall obtain those things whereof he saith unto you, which is neither eye has seen, nor ear heard, neither have they entered into the heart of man. We ask therefore for that which thou hast promised to give us, O thou undefiled Jesu. We praise thee, we give thee thanks, and we confess to thee. glorifying thee, even we men that are yet without strength. For thou art God alone, and none other, to whom be the glory now and to all ages. Amen. And when the multitude stood and pronounced Amen with a great sound together, and with the Amen, Peter gave up his spirit unto the Lord. When you understand that your existence, even just being here, is only in him and through him you exist. And in this system, you were under mind control, and he reconciled you back to himself. That's why it says, unless you make the things of the right hand as those of the left, and those of the left as those of the right, and those above as those below, you will have no knowledge of the kingdom. Just picture a crucifixion upside down. If you turn it the other way, right becomes left, left becomes right, down becomes up, up becomes down. That's what he's saying, because there Peter was fulfilling John 21 on a cross. His death was glorifying God. And he knew it. The most incredible gift for all ages since the beginning. The truth is opposite the lie. And the whole world is a lie. It's predicated upon a lie. Watch. Let me show you a picture. Y'all know who Rihanna serves, don't you? Minds control. Control minds. It's an upside down cross. Because until you know the truth, you're just under mind control of the world, of the ant farm, you're the aphid. You just don't know. You're just in a system you don't even know you're in. You just got carried away captive, just like the aphids, and you become so inert, so dependent on the system, you don't even care. You're like, whatever. And no one has a desire to know the truth anymore. Today was the fulfillment for me on a personal level of the summer of 2002. It was the end of July or the very beginning of August, the night I got saved in that alley. And after I got saved and I said, Our Father, and water and light came down on me, and then I was told to say a Hail Mary by Michael, said, you say Hail Mary. So I would know where death came from. Death is the opposite of life. Life is up. Death is down. Show you something. Good is up. Evil is down. Light is up. Dark is down. God is up. Satan is down. Up is up. Down is down. In this system, they've turned everything upside down and backwards. Woe unto them who call good evil and evil good, who call light for dark and dark for light. That's what they do here. And then those that are good are evil. Those that do what's right are bad. Look at the liberal agenda. It's insanity. It's absolute insanity. Let me show you this. Let me just show you in a very simple term. This is a symbol for division in math. I'm sorry about that. It's really frustrating when this computer does its own quantum leap. I'll tell you what, it's an interesting quantum lead it just did, but there we go. Right here in the symbol, that's the division for math, symbol for division in math. So right here, think if I put a circle around this whole thing, think of the midst of the garden like the Garden of Eden. It says in the midst of the garden was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And then also in the midst of the garden is the tree of life. This is a division symbol. Here's up, here's down. I made this all into division symbols. This is inside one host body. Up and down, ana kata, Jesus and Satan, light and dark, good and evil. See, we are the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. If you simply take the division sign right here and you rotate it on its side, it's just like a face, I. Kingdom divided, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. This has division on another scale because this is a perfect representation of the system right here. One eye that's good, one eye that's bad. Let's just take this right here and we'll go like here and we'll go right here and we'll just rotate it. You got up, down, one eye that's up, one eye that's down. Ana means up, kata means down. Jesus is up, Satan is down, light is up, dark is down. And see, no one's eyes are single until you get converted. Okay, so now let me tell you about briefly the way I took hold of the Acts of Peter, where in silence my spirit connected with the Spirit of the Lord in silence. And I made that connection today. And when it happened, the Lord proved to me it happened by taking me back to the night I got saved to prove it in a way that's impossible. And I'm going to share it with you. So the night I got saved, after I prayed the Our Father, water and light came down on me. Then I prayed the Hail Mary. Then Michael's, I felt death. And then I was standing there just stupefied. And Michael said, "You look like you need some water. You should go to the bus station and get some water." And I was like, "I'll go to the bus station and get some water." And as I started walking out of the alley, Lou even touched me on the shoulder, and I pulled my shoulder from her. I remember she was standing right here, and she touched me, and I went like this, and I looked at her, and I went, "Don't touch me. I'm walking with the Lord. Don't touch me. I'm walking with the Lord. Don't touch me." Because I knew she was unclean. I was so incredibly beaming with light. When she touched me, I literally yanked my shoulder and very calmly just said, "Don't touch me. I'm walking with the Lord. Don't touch me. I'm walking with the Lord. Don't touch me." And she was, she was just disappeared from my hemisphere, basically. So then I walked over to the bus station to get some water, and the story. I walked outside. I got in a cab. I thought maybe I should go to New York. That's where the Spirit was. I thought that's where I was supposed to go. I got in a cab, asked the cab, "Could you drive me to New York?" And the guy looked at the dash and said, "Vacant, VACANT." The V and the A were blotted out. The light wasn't on. It said "can't," one only. I said, "Lou, get out of the car." And she was like, "What?" I said, "Get out of the car. I have to take this trip by myself." And so she got out. And then I leaned over. I said, "Can you take me now?" And the cab driver just turned around and went. So anyway, after that, I got out of the cab and I was standing there, and I was not acting strangely or doing anything weird. I wasn't making any obvious, nothing. I was just standing there looking at other cabs trying to decide, what am I supposed to do? And that's when some guy came up behind me and said, right to my ear, he said, "Sir, could you put your hands behind your back?" I put my hands behind my back and he cuffed me. I was so calm, I didn't even care. I honestly could care less. And I was just like, whatever, wherever this is going. So he said, "Could you come with me? Could you come with me for a minute?" San Antonio police want to talk to you for a minute. I was like, okay. They walk me back to an office there at the Greyhound bus station. I sit down in an office. I look up on the wall. There's a picture, and the picture had a guy sitting on a hill like this with his arm around a dog. All you could see was the guy's back. Now, it wasn't a photograph. It was like a drawing, but it was glittery and it wasn't cartoonish. It was between cartoon and real, but it was glittery, and he was looking out over the water with his arm around his dog. When I saw that picture, guys, I knew. Everything in my spirit knew that's me and Jesus now. My new best friend is with me. As I waited for the San Antonio police to come down, which only took them a couple minutes. And then they walked in, two uniforms. They walked in and they said, do you have your license? And I said, yes. And they looked at my license and they said, do you have an art gallery down on Broadway? Now, this is to the best of my recollection. Do you have an art gallery down on Broadway? And I was very calmly, very honestly, yes. Because we were open 24/7. I mean, we were there all the time. There was stuff going on all the time. Yeah, of course, there were drugs over there. Was strippers that got off work would come to the art gallery and would hang out, party. We just stayed up all night. Just stuff was going on 24/7. And so they said, well, do you guys do drugs over there? And I was like, yes. He asked me questions, like very pointed questions. Do you have any drugs on you? No. And then he said, well, I can't keep you. And I just looked at him and I said, I know. He said, you're free to go. Okay. The point is, at that point of my journey that night, when I looked up on that wall and I saw the guy with his arm around his dog looking out over the ocean, in my deepest part of my being, I knew that this new spirit that had taken up residency in me in the alley, I knew that was him and I, my best friend. Okay, that thing I just read you from the Acts of Peter, today I experienced what he was saying in spirit and in spirit alone. Do you recognize these things? And I was out there on my side patio, just sitting outside by myself, thinking about everything the Lord shown me and the truth of the scriptures and how mind-boggling all this is. And I sat there and I had my eyes closed and I was just sitting there and I took hold of it. And it was like that board going out the door to sky surf. And man, tears and emotion and connection and just the experience of it happened. Watch this. I came inside and I was like, that was unbelievable. I want everybody to know what this is. Not only do I want everyone to be saved, I want everybody to know what this is. When you've made the things of the right as those of the left, and those of the left as those of the right, the two have become one, and in him and through him we exist. And I took hold of it. And then I sat here trying to decide, do I go back over towards the office and I have something I'm working on over there? And I heard the Lord tell me to go to Bass Pro Shop. To go to Bass Pro Shop. Bass Pro Shop. And I was like, really? And it just went through my head. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go grab a pair of shorts because I kind of need some shorts pretty badly. I thought, you know what? I'll go grab a pair of shorts. And when I was checking out, everything's different there. You have to go to the customer service now to check out. As I stood there, I just looked over my shoulder. And when I looked over my shoulder, my eyes just zeroed in, and the Lord told me, go get it. Let me show you what he showed me. Can y'all see that? The whole thing's glittery. See it? Now, granted, I know there's a ponytail on there. Do you know this is the longest I've had my hair in a long, long, long time? I actually have been putting a hair tie on it. There's nowhere to go get your hair cut right now because of the whole COVID thing. And I'm actually wearing my hair in a ponytail. I looked up and I saw this thing sitting on a rack. That's exactly, and look what it says, when there are no words. But with the voice, I do give thee thanks, O King, which is perceived, understood in silence, which is not heard openly, which proceeded not forth by organs of the body, which goeth into the ears of flesh, which is not heard of corruptible substance, which existeth not in the world, neither is sent forth upon the earth, nor is written in books, which is owned by one and not another. But with this, O Jesu Christ, I do give thee thanks with the silence of a voice, wherewith the Spirit that is in me loveth thee, speaketh unto thee, seeth thee, and beseecheth thee. Thou art perceived of the Spirit only. Thou art to me my father, my mother, my brother, my friend, my bondsman, my steward. Thou art the all, and the all is in thee, and thou art, and there is naught else that is, save only thee. Go to Bass Pro Shop. This is exactly what was on the wall the night I got saved. The very day I took hold of those words, I go to Bass Pro Shop, and there is an exact representation of what was not explainable the night I got saved, knowing that Jesus, my best friend, now was with me. I want everybody to understand what this is. And the good news is it's not like sky surfing. You can have it. That's the good news. And the only thing you need to know is that. Because what he says here in the Acts of Peter is everything he's let me prove to you in the Bible without the Acts of Peter. Why do you think they took the Acts of Peter out of the Bible? Because if this was in the Bible, do you know how many more people would understand the simplicity of the truth? I mean, seriously, it'd be ridiculous. While I'm asking Kat to look up 418, I look over and I see some guy in a wheelchair, Frankie. That was a supernatural encounter if I've ever had one. It was so unbelievable. I'm like, is this like Michael in a wheelchair or something? What's going on? Yeah, the King's coming. I can assure you the King's coming. Now, we're at 59 minutes. And the thing that I want you to have the most, I just explained to you. I want you to know what it's like to go sky surfing with the space shuttle in the same airspace. But better than that, I want you to know what it's like to perceive Christ in silence and for your spirit to interconnect with him in silence, in knowing that in him and through him you exist. Your very existence is in him and through him. It's not even explainable. You have to perceive it in spirit and spirit alone. You can't perceive it any other way. Did y'all know that the Bible is encrypted? It's encrypted. The only thing that can open it is a spirit. That's why 100% nylon. Turn it upside down, Johnny. And I've been doing it ever since. So, that's... You're not going to believe the rest of it, though. Ready? Group hug. Guys, this is for every one of you that I've read one of your letters. And when I read your letters, guys. I sit there and I read your letters and I think about them. Sometimes when people don't even write a letter, I look at the name on the return address and I say, thank you. Thank you for thinking about me. Thank you for helping me do what I do. That's been such a challenge that I tried to quit 3 times, just like Peter. I tried to quit this ministry 3 times. I said, I quit. No one wants to know. They don't give a shit. I'm sorry, I'm just being blunt. And then, the Lord has a way. So, this hug right here, this is you. This is you. This is me. And this is Christ through me to you. I love you. We're going to be okay. Don't be afraid. Fear not. Greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. We're family. We're one. And we're the good part of the equation. Watch this. You ready? Did y'all know that whole hug thing just kind of entered into the whole ministry just a while back. It just happened. I was like, I just need to give everybody a hug. When there are no words, there are always hugs. That's the Lord. It's the way he does things. Now, y'all want to freak out? Time to freak out. Okay, first hour and 3 minutes. It's 12:31. Okay, I'm going to drink some coffee. I'm going to go change into a very different color. So if you've been watching this thing, you can just go, okay, he was in blue. Now he's in white or dark blue or green or red. All right. I'm going to pause it, go make some coffee, and let's pick it up. All right. All right. So part 2, hour number 2. So here we go. So now let's talk about mind control. Now, the entire system that you're born into, from the very moment you open your eyes in this system, you are under mind control because you're in a host body. Remember, there's one eye that's up, one eye that's down. One's connected to the pit, one eye goes to the pit, one eye's up. Arise, O sleeper, wake up from the dead, and Christ will give you light. It's all about right side up and upside down in this system. That's why you will find repetitively in the Bible when the word up is used. When the Son of Man is lifted up on the cross, you will know that I am He. When you go through the Bible and you start seeing this truth about up playing out and down being the enemy, you come to this much greater understanding of everything. That is the foundation of what your ministry, or when I say your ministry, it was my ministry. That was the foundation of my ministry, and the foundation of your walk with Christ should be based on the rock, and this is understanding the rock. That's why it's in Matthew 16. Upon this rock I will found my church. What rock? That. Christ right side up and Peter upside down. Keys to the kingdom of heaven. Get it done. Christ right side up, Peter upside down. Petra, Petros. Bam. Key gets it done. It's the most obvious thing in the world once you see it. When someone's, well, it's so paradoxical. It's like, it only took me 20 years. It's like, no, I saw it, but I mean, I understood it, but I couldn't explain it, or I couldn't wrap my brain around it to the extent I can now. Now I understand it. It's part of me. I've become part of it. It has taken on its role in me. Anyway, so let's talk about this ant and aphid thing real quick. Just think about this. You're born into a host body. You don't really know what's what. You're just, every experience you have tells you what life is supposed to be. Well, if you look at life from a biblical worldview, it is so totally different than what the world told me life was. I mean, the world told me, oh, let's see, your mom loves you, your dad loves you, your dad's busy all the time. Your mom, even though she loves you, you end up being scolded. I used to fight with my mom like cats and dogs. I mean, I love my mom, and I knew my mom loved me, but she was part of the system too. So, I mean, we all have our relationships, right? And school and friends and girlfriends. If you're a girl, you had boyfriends or whatever. And, you have relationships. You have, what am I supposed to do? No one ever thinks you're supposed to try and find out the truth so you'll get set free. Jesus said you'll know the truth and the truth will set you free. Let me ask you this. How do you get set free if you don't even know you're a prisoner? Like the aphids. Let me show you the aphids again. Look, if all these guys watch, let's see them carrying on. You know what? I bet we can find a video. Let me see. The only thing about a video is I don't want to get a copyright thing, but let's just use single photos. Like, see it? There's an ant. Just look at him grabbing all the aphids. Look at the ants. Look how many different pictures of ants there are harvesting aphids. They're not eating the aphids. They're making the aphids produce honeydew, and then the secretion that's full of amino acids, they suck it up, and then they feed it to the rest of the hive. So the ant and the aphid story is just a perfect example of understanding the system. That's probably why they took mine down, because they do not want something up like that. And one of Satan's minions, I'm sure, had a hand in it. So there it is. There's a system. Let me click on that. And just, that's weird. That's weird. Usually it should bring up a whole scroll here to the right. Ant mutualization, harvesting aphids. See? So, I haven't ever seen this. I'd like to look at it. Ants provide protection from predators in harsh winters. Aphids provide nutrition in the form of honeydew. Symbiosis. Okay, so there it is. So see, the ants. Now imagine this: a bunch of angels carried away captive into a host body system, and when you wake up, you don't know that you're an aphid in the mound, do you? Well, what if some guy shows up, so let's say some aphid shows up and was like, well, let me show you something real quick. Don't tell anybody. And so Johnny shows up in the mound and starts pointing stuff out and says, hey, don't look now, but that church that you keep walking into where you think you're worshiping God, if you look at it from above, it's really a snake with its tongue sticking out. That's not good. If you think you're worshiping God, but you're in a building that's in the shape of a snake with a crown on its head, that's probably bad, right? I'm just saying, right? Well, if you're on your knees and everybody's doing this, and I know everyone's doing this because I used to be there doing that. If I was at the front of the class looking towards everybody doing this, all I would see is hundreds of pyramids, right? Oh, and then the ball at the top, kind of like the all seeing eye. Oh, so the priest is looking at all these pyramids that are elbows resting on the pew in front of him, and then a bunch of pyramids. Brrr, brrr, pyramid, 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 pyramid. Well, that's interesting. And all the pyramids are looking right up there at that altar that's a bunch of angels melting into semen? Oh, you mean the aphids being carried away captive? Let's take a look at that. So let's see. So there's the mouth of that snake right there. See right there, there's a window right there. And that window right there happens to be this. And there's a big altar built under the window, and the window is incorporated into the altar. And the hole right there, that where the light comes through, is surrounded by a bunch of angels, but they're all melting like into honey. And the artwork clearly shows that they're melting like in honey. But because the aphid that's talking to you right now, named Jonathan Kleck, was able to meet with the Lord in spirit, and the Lord took up residency inside me and gave me eyes to see, I can see that that's really a penis ejaculating, and those angels are not melting into honey, they're melting into semen. So now if you're an aphid and you're in the system, you're either going to want to go, whoa, wait a minute, or you're going to want to not like this aphid. Because the one that came into the system, he didn't have to burrow down a tunnel to get to you. He just took up residency in this particular aphid. Everything's making sense now, isn't it? It's pretty fascinating. You know what? Let me show you an outward manifestation of just the folders. I told you, I have all this cool stuff I want to show you. Instead of going off on showing you all the angels melting into semen again and the whole sheep, you turn it upside down. What is it? And you're like, it's a vagina, Jonathan. We know. I know you know because I've told you like 1,000 times. Why would the mouth of a snake be a vagina? Well, if that's the way the serpent gets its food, that would make sense, right? Sure. I mean, duh. Food for a snake goes in the mouth. What's going in the mouth of that snake is a penis. What comes out of the penis is energy in the form of sperm. Sperm are actually living cells that carry the spark of life when it goes into an egg. Wow, wait a minute. So you start doing the engineering, the mental engineering, the math, it starts being pretty obvious, doesn't it? The serpent eats whatever's in sperm. Is that where souls come from? and the spirit of Elohim moved over the seamen. Genesis 1 verse 2. The spirit of Elohim moved over the water seamen. Is that where souls come from? Or is that where the energy came from for the system? You starting to get this? Let me show you what's in the folder today. There's Rihanna with her mind control. Y'all remember the Mickey Mouse thing? Y'all remember all the different what is Mickey Mouse really? It's two different races, one race and another race. The serpent and Adam, these represent their sperms. The sperm of the serpent, the sperm of Adam. This represents the dimension, Eve, being impregnated 2 into 1. Remember, I showed y'all that? Y'all want to see what I saw today? Would you like to see a picture that I saw today that just confirms everything I showed you? These are like Rihanna. It was with Rihanna wearing this shirt. So people that know actors and actresses probably know this guy. Why does this guy have a Mickey Mouse shirt that's the sigil of Baphomet on the inside with a line going straight down the middle with two hands making an upside down cross like Peter crucified, and it's making like a V and like devil horns? Huh. I told you. Okay, let's get back to our page real quick. Let me show you this. Ready? Okay, guys. Let me show you how obvious they're. Now, I want y'all to, on your own, you should watch all these, but we're going to do the 2 pet cats in New York test positive for coronavirus. We're going to do that during the white shirt phase. We're going to do the big blue bug wears face mask to support the frontline workers. We're going to do that. We're going to do the Simpsons. They call it the cat flu. Clip 1, 2, and 3. And we're just going to pull those clips up and I'm going to show you little parts. I'm not going to actually play them, but you've got to watch clip 1, clip 2, and clip 3. But watch this. Big blue bug wears face mask in support of frontline workers. Do you know that the collective consciousness of the other side, which is the other side that's come up into the host body system and is manifesting through all these host bodies like puppets, do you know it knows that they're trying to wipe out red in the system? Red represents Adam, sons of Adam. Remember I showed you on the COVID thing from the World Health Organization, the picture? Okay, so remember this, the coronavirus, the COVID-19 patient, look, it's red, COVID-19. COVID means C is Abaddon, Ovid is sheep, 19 is slaughter. Abaddon sheep slaughter patient. And then it says recovered patient. And then it shows draw of blood. Recovered patient is blue. And then they inject this into COVID-19 patient. And everybody's blue. You got the big one that's blue and the 2 little ones that's blue. And the whole system has turned blue. Because that is a manifestation of the truth. Think about this. Ready? Stop and think. The whole world, the entire world, is wearing face masks. Did you know when you breathe into a face mask like that, it's kind of like breathing in a paper bag? You're breathing in a lot of CO2. You're not breathing in all the oxygen in the room. Your breath going out, you're bringing in a percentage of your breath is going in your own mouth, in your own lungs, your own breath. So think of the world at whole. If you have one person that's breathing into their own mask, instead of getting 100% oxygen, let's say they're getting 75. Now the person next to him is getting 75. Older people less maybe. So you do that on everybody on the planet that's wearing a mask. The whole organism you call the human race is getting a lot less oxygen. So picture every human on the planet. All the oxygen that was going in has been depleted severely. The human host body organism as one is starting to not have the same breath in it. Breath. That's a manifestation of the spiritual world that we're watching. You just have to start thinking outside the box a little bit. Now, remember, this is about also being global citizens. Remember? That's why I have this. The global citizen COVID-19 was started in 2012. I believe it was 2012. Let me just click on this. I just want to make sure I get my facts straight. Lots of Hollywood celebs, led by Lady Gaga, are doing fundraiser for COVID-19 through Global Citizen, which was started in 2012. Funny that the logo for Global Citizen looks like COVID. And now you start hearing people like Lady Gaga and these other actors and actresses, and it's becoming part of their normal nomenclature. Global citizen. Well, we all want to be global citizens because they're trying to get the sheep out of the system and they want to just bring in all their own race. Just like Lady Gaga said, my performance at the Grammy Awards is about a new race of beings being birthed within the human race. Well, already you got all these people breathing in a lot less oxygen because they're breathing in their own CO2. But you know what's even more interesting? Everybody wearing these masks, you know what it makes them look like? I noticed it right away. You know what it makes everybody look like? Well, you know what the largest altar in the world is, right? That big sheep, the largest altar in the world. When you get far away from that altar, what does the whole altar turn into? Y'all remember? What's the largest altar in the world turn into when you get further away from it? It turns into a bug right here. See the bug? So there you go. So the largest altar in the world is really a bug harvesting semen, which is a lot like an ant and an aphid, isn't it? So the ants and the aphids are a lot like that. Wow, it seems to have taken over the. There you go. See, there's an aphid that's putting out some honeydew right there, and the largest altar in the world is a bug harvesting a different type of honeydew, which is secreted by a male sex organ, and that's what's going on. Just all you got to do is look at the picture. Look, I did all the work for y'all. There it is. So the largest altar in the world is no different than the ant and the aphid deal, is it? Now remember, mind control, just like control minds, just like Rihanna. Rihanna, Rihanna, the singer, movie star, wearing the T-shirt that says "Control Minds." It's an upside down cross. Like Peter was crucified upside down. Uh huh. Well, you know what I noticed now? Besides Lady Gadfly, and all the other references we have to insects, which are so numerous at this point, with Miley Cyrus with flies on her panties and Dee Antwoord having Lady Gaga giving birth to a locust, with the Rolling Stones album with Mick Jagger. His face is really just a suit, and what's really behind it is an insect. Besides all these other things that I've shown you, like this girl shadow hunting this guy, her shadow's an insect, or Lady Gaga with a big insect on her dress at the Oscar Awards, or Mantouse perfume that shows the reflection of an insect, and the numerology behind it shows that they're hunting humans, or this girl with this lovely death moth tattoo on her back, which shows what's really coming out of her is death, or clothing lines like Lurking Class, where you turn the Grim Reaper upside down and it's really an insect hatching from a pupa, or the government of the United States, and the layout of the grounds just happens to be in the shape of the head of an insect, or a pair of panties that happens to have the female reproductive system drawn on the panties, which is no different than this image of a vampire, which in itself is the same thing as a praying mantis, and the head of the praying mantis just happens to fit exactly where the female reproductive system is, which just happens to be the same as this little image I have that says vampire, because even the vampire itself is really an insect, just like a praying mantis. Or this young lady with a praying mantis birthing out of a sheep that's tattooed on her chest. And besides all these symbolic, obvious things, let me show you this one. A big blue bug wears a face mask in support of frontline workers, because they know that the frontline workers are all connected to the angel of the bottomless pit. That's who they're really supporting. You know, the people that are helping orchestrate this giant gaslighting, total nonsense. It's a joke. Watch. Nibbles Woodaway is showing his love and appreciation for frontline workers across Rhode Island. Nibbles Woodaway. Nibbles Woodaway. Now remember that thing I just showed you in the Acts of Peter, where he calls Jesus the Word of Life, now called by me Wood, or Tree of Life, right? You remember that? Let's see. See if I still have it up, or did I close it? No, I closed it. But let me show you this. So, you know, Adam and Eve get coats of skins, and the Lord God did make coats, a garment or a robe of nakedness. So see, Adam and Eve were clothed with coats of nakedness. A lot of people don't understand that, to be made naked right there. So when the Lord God did make for Adam, and unto Adam and his wife did the Lord God, the self-existent eternal Jehovah, which is Jesus, make coats, a garment of skin nakedness. So he made for them garments of nakedness, and he clothed them. And the Lord God said, behold, man has become as one of us, to know good and evil. Okay, ready, everybody? Pay attention. Ready? Has become as one of us, to know good and evil. Now lest he put forth his hand and take also from the tree of life. Let's look at the word tree. A tree from its firmness, hence wood. And it also means carpenter or gallows. And it means to fasten, to make firm. So let's look at the name of this bug. It's called Nibbles Wood Away. Really? He's showing his love and appreciation on the frontline workers across Rhode Island. Nibbles, who is beloved mascot of Big Blue Bug Solutions, is in Providence is doing a face mask in support of first responders amid the coronavirus pandemic. Well, I noticed something right away about Nibbles' eyes right there. Let me show you what the Lord showed me about Nibbles' eyes. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh my gosh. That is a hendecagram, and inside of it, there just happens to be a perfect pentagram. To those whose hearts have been purified, everything becomes pure. There is a hendecagram around a 5-pointed star. You see it? Do y'all remember where we've seen that? Let me think. Could you say Statue of Liberty? And what is the Statue of Liberty? It's a big statue representing angels that got caught in a system to turn them into bugs from the pit. That's what the Statue of Liberty is. Well, wait a minute. What were you taught that what it was? Now see, I'm just going to be blunt. The Holy Spirit taught me what it was. I never learned what the Statue of Liberty was all about in school. I mean, the Statue of Liberty, it's in New York. It's by the water somewhere. Bring me all your people that want to come here. Whatever. But no, the Lord taught me and showed me and had me look at it and had me see it through His lenses of truth. So the lenses of truth looked at the Statue of Liberty. The Lord told me, look at the base. Look up what an 11-pointed star was. I was like, well, this is weird. Okay. It's 11-pointed star. It's called a hendecagram. What's a hendecagram? It's a kelipot in Jewish Kabbalah. What's a kelipot? It's a shell, a peel, or a husk. It's inherently evil, housing the essence of holiness. And it's in the holy Sephirah, in the Sephirah, connected with what's called evil twins. That's what I was taught through the Holy Spirit about what the statue of Eleutheria is. And she's holding a penis in her hand, and she's got a spiral staircase that goes all the way down, and the spiral staircase looks just like a DNA helix, going all the way down from the penis, all the way down to the hendecagram, which is a kelipot. So, see, I'm no longer under mind control. I'm under the truth. I live in truth now. I don't live in the secular world. I live a biblical worldview because now the truth lives in me. And so now I'm able to see and share the truth with you. And the more you share and understand that truth, you can apprehend and you can take hold of what it means in the Acts of Peter to perceive Christ in the silence of the Spirit and make that connection that's just beyond explanation. And just to prove I did it, he took me and he gave me a card that's identical to what I saw the night I got saved in the bus station when the cops were there interviewing me. And just to make it even cooler, he put this hug thing in there because that's kind of my thing. I like to reach out and hug everybody because I love you guys. Y'all are my brothers and my sisters in Christ. We're eternal beings. We're aliens here. Now, let's take a look at this. Looky here. Let's drag this one over here. Da, 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 da. It's a kelipot. I told you. So, see, the kelipot represents the transformation of an angel, the transmutation of an angel into a bug from the pit. Isn't it wild that a big blue bug is wearing a face mask? Let me show you something that brought up even more. So, how many of y'all have seen the movie Bug's Life with Hopper and everybody? See, if you look at the shape of these locusts, or I guess they're grasshoppers, but for my argument point, everybody's going to be the same as a locust now, because Hopper right here doesn't look a whole lot different than any one of these people wearing your little COVID mask. So see, it is a manifestation right here of everybody that's wearing these masks is really kind of looking like a bunch of COVID patients. Let's see. Oh, where's my colored one, Dave? No, there we go. All right, watch this. I will stretch this one. I'll enlarge this one. You know what? I'll just go like this. So, all I did was I took this ad that they have going on right now, and I just went ahead and I just put the COVID thing. This is literally a thing they have going on right now. COVID. Let's see. Maybe I'll enlarge it one more time. There you go. Watch this. COVID. There you go. Do you think they're making everybody look like locusts? See, COVID, Abaddon sheep slaughter. Here's all the grasshoppers, aka locusts. I'll call them locusts. They're grasshoppers from A Bug's Life. But look at them all right here. And then look at the people wearing the COVID masks. Do you think? See, that is just another manifestation across the world that all these people that are walking around attached to the pit. You think this COVID thing's legit? Okay. They're trying to get Adam out of the system. They want the red out. All blue, no red. Only blue. They want their brave new world. No God in it. No Jesus. Okay? There you go. COVID-19. Abaddon sheep slaughter. Now, just to make this a little more real for you, here's what I did. I took different images of this kind of makes everybody walking around look like a locust, doesn't it? Here I took the actual C equals Abaddon, Ovid equals sheep, 19 equals slaughter. So let's enlarge this one and we'll just have a little fun with it. There you go. That's what's going on. Abaddon, sheep, slaughter. Now, I'm really going to drive that point home on this next little video segment. And when I show you this next little video segment, guys, I know it's going to seem like far-fetched, but you know what? I absolutely guarantee you it is without error. When I saw it, I was like, you got to be nuts. You got to be kidding. But as I watched and I paid attention and I let these eyes work for him, it became painfully obvious, just the obviousness of the truth. Ready? There you go. COVID-19. Abaddon sheep slaughter. Here all the bugs are. Hey, you better wear your mask. You better wear your mask. Yeah, you're... Now, I can see this thing like taking an upswing and them start to loosening up, but watch out because then the hammer will come down. Here's a place I used to go eat, growing up and just all through high school, and it's called Good Time Charlie's. Look at that. Never would have thought it. That's a bug, you guys. That's like a gadfly. See it? Charlie. Charlie. Good time, free man. That's an insect. That's it. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. There, right there. Good time Charlies. Looked like they were just bracing up the corners, right? Looks like they were just kind of putting some cool trim on the corner. But no, they were making, look at that. They were making, that's a bug. That's an insect. Absolutely. Now, let's see. Here, let's do, we'll do the Simpsons last. Let's, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do this. Let's do this next section. Let's like reverse engineer it. Okay. I'm going to show you the reveal first. And then I'll show you the little commercial because now cats can get COVID. Adds a whole new meaning to the Jaguar commercial. Release the cats. It's like combined aerial target systems, but maybe they meant cats. Okay, now everyone. Okay, before I do this, I know everyone's gonna go, Jonathan, come on, but just wait. Just sit tight. Don't start throwing your rocks at me yet. Just hold on to them. Wait till you hear. Wait till you watch. Take it easy. That cat's upside down. See it? It's kind of interesting, but I've had a lot of cats. But man, look at let's take that cat's little mouth off the screen. I just want you to look at his eyes and his eyes. Those are very pronounced markings right here. Almost like someone took that damn cat and dyed it. I was like, wait a minute. That does not look natural. Look at that. That's kind of weird looking. But nevertheless, we'll just leave it like it is. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Cat's upside down though in the picture frame for sure, right? Okay, now I told you just hang on to your rock. Don't start throwing tomatoes or nothing yet. Just sit tight. I'm going to show you the meaning of Strong's 236, okay? Strong's 236 means to change, to cause one thing to cease, like the sheep, and another to take its place. To exchange one thing for another, to transform. Oh, you mean like changing an angel to a locust, maybe. Y'all remember what the word isotoxal means, like an isotoxal star? There's 4-pointed and 3-pointed isotoxal stars. Isotoxal is edge transitive. And what it means is basically you becoming your own mirror reflection. Okay, you know what? I'd like to read the definition for isotoxal just because it's a cool definition. So let's just read it real quick. Isotoxal. Okay, here we go. In geometry, or a polytope, for example, a polygon or polyhedron, or a tiling is isotoxal or edge transitive if its symmetries act transitively at its edges. Like isotoxal stars. Like, see here, these are isotoxals. Edge transitive, if its symmetries acts transitively on its edges. So that's what the Lord was showing me when what's her name was pregnant with the twins. So to exchange one thing for another, to transform, to change, to cause one thing to cease and another to take its place. Kind of like one race of beings to cease and another one take its place. To change, alter, transform. That's what the number 236 means. Okay, now remember, I told you we're going to kind of do this one like reverse engineered. It'll be fun. Watch. Okay, so then we're going to look at 132. And 132 means red or ruddy from Adam. See? Or fully ad monly out of me from Adam, reddish. Okay, so it literally means red, ruddy. That's what 132 means. So I've shown you to change from one thing to another, and then red, Adam, and I've shown you, like to transform. And now I showed you a cat that's upside down, and then I'm going to show you a cat, and this is where all the people that think that I'm obsessed with penises and vaginas, y'all can start doing your whole thing, okay? Kleck's obsessed with penises. And like, I know they keep drawing them. I can't help it. That's so crazy. Okay, so I'm just saying this cat looks like he's got a drawing of a penis and a scrotum on the center of his face. Okay, I'm not trying to be mean to the cat. I'm just saying it looks kind of like he's got that going, right? And you know what? If I was y'all, I would probably think, Kleck, you may have overdone it this time. But wait, there's more. So let's watch it. Before you start throwing stuff at me, remember the definitions I showed you. 132, and 236. 236 means to change, to cause one thing to change to another and take its place. And then 132 means red or ruddy. Okay, now let's watch a little video. Now, don't forget, we already saw nibbles wood away. And what's the word for the tree of life? What's the word for the tree of life? Wood. Nibbles wood away. And it's a big locust. Okay. All right. Sure. It's a blue locust. Okay, here we go. 2 pet cats test positive. Okay, hang on. Okay, so here we go. Oh, come on.
Anything your wild child does, Pampers Cruisers 360 Fit can too. With a stretchy waistband and adaptive 360 Fit. So they can move the way they were born.
Oh, wow. Born to be Wild showed a baby one upside down, tongue sticking out. I mean, did you see it? You can't make this stuff up. What happened? Yeah, look at that. Born to be Wild. Look. Love the change. Okay, well.
This morning, new warnings for pet owners in the age of coronavirus. The CDC and the USDA confirming 2 pet cats have now tested.
Did you see what just happened? 2 pet cats have now tested positive. Let's watch the screen Watch the cats.
USDA confirming 2 pet
Okay,
cats
that cat
have now
goes, and then the other one's upside down. Watch.
USDA confirming 2 pet cats have now tested positive for COVID-19.
Look up here. You see 236, 236, April 23. 2 cats have tested positive.
Confirming 2 pet cats have now tested positive for
236. Right there, it shows you 236, like we care what time it is. Did you know there's a /4? That's not how you would type it. If that was actually a time thing, there would be no /4 on there. That's called added after the fact. Anyone that's done any video and held a video camera knows there's no /forward. They added that. Why did they add 236? Well, let's see. They had a cat. They're talking about COVID-19. And they had a cat that had suspiciously looked like a penis and testicles on his forehead turned to a cat that's upside down that kind of almost looked like they dyed the cat's forehead to look like. Look at that. Look at this. Okay, maybe they found a cat with those markings. Maybe. But this is contrived. I don't care what anybody says. Let's listen to it again. Watch.
USDA confirming 2 pet cats have
Okay, I want y'all to see this. Okay, I don't know if this was added, and I don't know, but I guarantee you I see it. The cat that's got the penis and testicles on his face looks like he winks. Watch. There's no way to slow this down, but watch.
The USDA confirming 2 pet cats.
Did y'all see it?
Positive for COVID-19. The federal agencies say the felines live. Confirming
Did you see it?
2 pet cats have now tested positive.
See it?
2 pet cats have now tested.
See it?
2 pet cats have now tested.
See it?
2 pet cats have now tested. Confirming 2 pet
And then
cats have now tested positive for COVID-19.
Okay.
Agencies say the felines live in
Okay, so
separate
now
areas of New York State.
236. Do we care what time it is? So now COVID-19, I told you it's Abaddon sheep slaughter. So they have one cat that's sitting there that's got suspiciously looks like a penis and testicles on his forehead from what would be a clinical drawing. And then the next cat is upside down with, the thing on his eyebrows looks like a W, and if you look at it upside down, it looks like a bug with mandibles. But you know what's even more suspicious? What happens after this? What happens after this is a bust. Watch this. It's ridiculous. Okay, let's watch that one more time. 2 pet cats. Let's see it. Just show it to me one more time.
CDC and the USDA confirming 2 pet cats have now tested positive for COVID-19. The federal agencies say the felines live in separate areas of New York State, with both displaying mild respiratory illness before getting tested. In the case of the first cat, no one else in the household had tested positive.
Okay, watch this. It says 236. It's still 236. You know what's weird is I keep noticing the pink being injected into here. Watch this. Just watch.
In separate areas of New York State, with both displaying mild respiratory illness before getting tested.
Pink.
In the case of the first cat, no one else
Pink.
in the household had tested positive
Pink.
for coronavirus. They still don't know how the cat got infected, but the USDA says It may have been an asymptomatic family member or an infected person outside the home. In the second case, the CDC says the cat's owner did test positive for COVID-19 prior to the cat showing signs.
Okay, now,
if the scenarios.
I want you to listen to what this guy says. Listen to the words. Listen to the nomenclature. In the right circumstances with a state vet. But watch the person that walks up behind him that's going to open the door and walk in the door. Well, why don't you just open the door and walk in the door? If they're filming, and you know they're filming, you probably don't want to interrupt their filming unless you're part of the filming and they want to make sure you open the door and see your reflection in it. Oh, watch. Now, look at the number 132, which means Adam. Now, remember, 236 means to change one thing to another while getting rid of the other and changing to like the new thing. Watch. Now look at the lady. Well, look right here. Look at the lady walk up to the door. How come she doesn't open the door and go in? How come she stops, opens the door, shuts the door? She's posed. She's doing this for the camera. Watch.
Positive owner, then I think we have to look for that, and that test is available.
Did you see it? Look. Now you have a reflection. 132. Now that test is available in pets under appropriate settings. Listen again. And look what they're doing. Watch the door open. Watch the lady behind him. None of it makes any sense.
For that, and that test is available in pets under appropriate settings and under the direction of the state veterinarian.
Did you see it?
Public health.
And that test is available
They
in
want
pets.
you to see her reflection in the 132. That's what this is. Watch.
Owner.
I think we have to look for that. Well, look for what? 132, the reflection of Adam.
Is available
Why didn't
in
she
pets.
go in? Why is she opening the door? Why is she standing there?
Under appropriate settings and under the direction of the state veterinarian.
Public.
Again, I want to watch it again.
That pet may have been exposed, such as a positive owner, then I think we have to look for that, and that test is available in pets under appropriate settings and under the direction of the state veterinarian.
Public health officials reiterating pets are still
132 and 236. Really? Really? No. Not possible. It just happens that it's 236 still here. Let's watch The Simpsons. Okay, so a helicopter is going to fly down to the Statue of Liberty. So it flies down to the Statue of Liberty. A guy gets out to go to a secret meeting. And as soon as he does, listen to what this guy says. Now remember what the Statue of Liberty represents.
We're unbalanced. It's not fair.
We're unbalanced. It's not fair. And then in the smoke, if you have eyes to see, he says it's unbalanced. It's not fair. Because the Statue of Liberty represents the whole host body system. And he gets out He says, it's unbalanced, it's not fair, and goes down and blows up. And guess what that explosion makes? It makes a sheep. I was like, I didn't try it. It's like, I'm like, you got to be kidding. Let's go to the folder. Now, I want to play y'all this whole scenario, but objective, create a phony crisis.
The next phony baloney crisis to put Americans
Put the next phony baloney crisis to put Americans
back where they belong, in dark rooms glued to their televisions, too terrified to skip the commercials.
in dark rooms, glued to their television, too terrified to skip the commercials. That's where everybody's at. I know so many people that are freaked out in their house watching. I mean, I know several people that fit that bill. Just glued to their television set, watching CNN, MSNBC, and they're freaking out. I mean, this is unbelievable. Let me show you a couple pictures from album 5. Create a phony crisis. We're unbalanced. It's not fair. What does the helicopter make? You think they wrote that Fox News there for nothing? It's a face. Look at it. It's a head. You see the whole thing is this evil head? Eye, mouth. Uh-huh. And then it blows up and it's a sheep. And then it's called Apocalypse Meow. And then the perfect storm. Did you know during the bombing of the Twin Towers, they said there were 2,977 deaths? Did y'all know that? 2,977 means secretly, secret and privately, done in secret. Something that's done in secret. So even the number of deaths in the Twin Towers, which was printed on your $20 bill, do you see how the code is completely broken now? Even using that cat. They use that cat. I mean, I almost found it hard to believe, except for the numerology that's right there that proves that. To change one thing to another and turns the other cat upside down in the very sentence that they're saying that. It's just like you just can't even believe it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So, things that are manifesting quickly now. The time is rapidly approaching to where they're going to force vaccinations, force chips. Anyone that doesn't comply is evil against the good of the system. And that's how they're going to identify those that are not part of their evil cabal and wanting to, be one of their cattle for the new world. Yeah, because you won't go along with all their nonsense. It's so crazy. Anyway, so to move on to something that parallels our little cats getting COVID, that parallels this. Remember 236 right here, it means to transform, to change one thing to another. Remember that, right? That's what 236 means.
2 pet cats have now tested positive for COVID-19.
So apparently, so it changed that one cat when it said tested positive. Right when he said tested positive, it went with the cat that has the alleged penis and testicles on his face. It changed from that to an upside down cat. Right when he said has tested positive, the other cat was upside down. probably nothing to worry about. But you know where I've seen that number, that numerology before? Do y'all remember the movie The Shining with Jack Nicholson? Where red rum, red rum, red rum. Red rum is murder backwards, right? Where did he see it? In the mirror. He spelled it red rum. Remember in the mirror? Jack Nicholson, The Shining. What room number were you not supposed to open? 237. Now this was 236, but to transform from one thing to another. What's this? Do y'all remember how the ones in the movie The Shining, you know what The Shining was about? These creatures from the other side. Don't open room 237, because when he went in there, there's this real attractive girl that gets out of the tub. She's naked, and Jack Nicholson goes and starts making out with her, and he looks in the mirror, isotoxal, and what is he really making out with? A dead witch. She's like a corpse. And he sees her and he's like, freak out. Okay, watch. Watch this. So, in the movie The Shining, the second one, which is called Dr. Sleep, do you remember how they get the Shining One's breasts? That while they're murdering them, they turn them upside down and suck out their breath. They call it steam. Their breath. They suck out their breath. The word spirit is breath, pneuma. And they hunt the shining. Elohim also means shining ones. They hunt us. But thanks to God's great mercy, this is a scene out of Dr. Sleep. You know what? Let's watch the Dr. Sleep trailer. Now look, let me show you something in album 5. I want you guys to see this. Let's see. Album 5. Y'all should watch clip number 1. You should watch clip number 2 and clip number 3 of The Simpsons. I cannot play them all for you, otherwise I'll get a codec violation. But you should watch all this stuff. You will not believe what you're looking at. It's called gaslighting. Telling you what they're going to do to you before they do it. It's unbelievable. All right, so here we go. Let's go and let's do Dr. Sleep. Dr. Sleep trailer 2019. Here we go.
With the savings rates offered at some banks, your money almost feels like it's frozen. With Capital One, you can open a new savings account in about 5 minutes and earn 5 times the national average. This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
When I was a kid, there was a place. A dark place. They closed it down and let it rot. But the things that lived there... they come back.
Not many ride the bus this far north. You're running away from something?
I'm running away from myself, I guess.
Hi. You can hear me. You're magic. Like me.
I don't know about magic. I always called it the Shining.
Gonna pause it. Room 237. I'll show you the definition in just a minute.
The world There's a hungry place. A dangerous place.
These people, they hurt people like us.
These empty devils, they'll eat what shines. And they noticed that little girl.
Well, hi there.
Get out of my head! Get out!
I haven't felt power like that in so long.
They're coming. Where are we going?
There's a place. You sure you want to do this?
I'm ready.
Yes, you run, dear. And then I will find you, and you will scream for years.
Come and play with us forever and ever.
So, that's the sequel to The Shining. And everything evil came out of room 237. Let's look up room 237 real quick in the Strongs. 237, that's 236 from the cat commercial. I change, alter, and make different. Let's see, 237 right there. From another place. From another place. But climbs up some other way from another place. That's from John 10 verse 1. John 10 verse 1 talks about the thief, and it's one of my favorite chapters in the Bible, John 10. Verily I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same as a thief and a robber. So this numerology thing that I showed you that they use is pervasive. When the Church of Notre Dame was burning, the number on the screen in the Bible meant church. Then the next number meant burning. And there just happened to be a church burning? That's weird. Just because now they're busted. And for those that know the truth, all things become pure. So now, what I see manifesting is over and over again. Here's what I see manifesting. Kill Adam. Get rid of all the red. So we're sons of Adam. Red is up, blue is down. Good is up, evil is down. God is up, Satan is down. So get rid of red, get rid of God, get rid of light, get rid of good. That's what they want to get rid of. That means Satan's rule on earth is arriving. Right now, we're watching it. We are watching it, folks. It's amazing. The reason I'm smiling is because greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. And I've gotten to experience just this amazing gift. I wouldn't trade my life with anybody in the history of the world. It's been an ass whooper. I will tell you that, though. It has come with, I tell people, you'll never know the top of the mountain till you've been to the bottom of the valley. It hasn't been easy. But anyway, the time is a-coming, folks. And the good news is, if you're in Christ, let me give you a hug so you can feel it. You're going to be okay, eternally okay. Now, I know no one's looking forward to like any kind of violence or any kind of, seeing any of that. I'm trusting in Christ that the Church of Philadelphia, like he said, because you've kept the word of my patience, I will keep you from the hour of testing. It means to put to the test by trial of good or evil. Like which side are you going to be willing to lay down your life for? You're going to take a chip or all that because you want to live a few years longer? Or are you going to say, no, I believe in Jesus and Jesus is my Savior? Now, do I believe that, there's a bunch of us that are watching this video that are going to see that? No, I don't. I believe the bride of Christ, just like it says, because you've kept the word of my patience, I will keep you from the hour of testing, which means as lightning shineth from the east unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Wouldn't that look like, if you had lightning shine from the east all the way into the west, wouldn't that look like just a big flash? And wouldn't they probably try and call it an EMP or something? But look, if lightning goes from the east unto the west, that energy, if it's the same as what's in you that's been converted, well, if it goes across, it'll take it all with it when it leaves. That host body will hit the dirt, but what's in that host body that's been converted goes with the energy that's the same. Does that make sense? So, as lightning shineth from the east unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. So, then there was an EMP, killed everybody. Oh, everybody come get your chip. Then all the people that don't know what's going on, man, you talk about a bunch of lost faith, man. There are people that don't know the word, people that haven't sought out the truth diligently with their whole heart. Man, it's going to be tough. Anyway, pray for them. Hopefully this information will make its way around. Guys, the Vatican's a snake. It's like, it's a snake. It's a snake. It's a snake. It's a big snake. Yeah, it's a big serpent wearing a crown. So, anyway, all right, guys. Well, let's see. It's 1:59. Woo! All right. Well, here's the thing. I have another video for y'all. I'm gonna wait. It's already ready to go. I could show it to you right now, but then I'd need to give you a testimony with it. Something very strange happened. My front door started just literally falling apart, peeling apart. This house used to be underwater. So I was forced to take the front door off and board it up. Kind of weird. I usually look for the Lord and stuff like that. I'm like, that's kind of weird. But then what ensued was absolutely the Lord, and I documented it all. So I redid the front door. The front door is completely different. The outside. Impossible. It is impossible. Anyway, I documented everything that happened. I kept a document. I documented it on my cell phone. And then I'll give you a testimony of it. But I wanted to give you this stuff tonight. I want you to take hold. Read the Acts of Peter. Read the Acts of Peter. Let me pull it up, show you how to get to it. Watch this. Type it into Google. Acts of Peter. Bam. Okay, so see right here, Acts of Peter, early Christian writing, Apocrypha. Click on that. This is what it'll look like right here, early Christian writing. And then nope, I clicked on the wrong one. Sorry. That's what it looks like. Bam, right here. Yep, early. So, and then you start scrolling down. Okay, it's a pretty good read. I haven't been through all of it, but down here at verse 37, XXX V11 37, 38, 39, absolutely phenomenal. Once you get to 39 right here, wow. There you go. And so, if I could give you anything, if I could give you, like, if there's anything I could give you besides knowing Christ and your salvation, to know him on a level to where you meet him in spirit, in silence, and you perceive that which is imperceptible only in spirit, I would give that to you. Same as I would say, man, I want you to go sky surfing with me. But you'd have to have a skill set for that. And it takes too long to acquire a skill set. This thing could be understood in a diligent search for Christ. Everyone can do that. Everyone can. So I wish it for you. I just wish I could give it to you. Because I got it. And he proved it. I love you in Christ. All right, guys. God bless you. Okay. I love you guys. All right. I'll see you in. I have the testimony for the front door. I don't think it's any kind of an accident at all. Well, let me rephrase that. I take that back. I know it was the Lord because he proved it was him, just like he proved this. There are no words. It's that which is incomprehensible. All right. I love you guys. Peace and grace. Y'all take care. Don't fret. Pray. Just pray. Just seek out the Father. He's in you. In him and through him, you exist. All right. God bless you.